Yo, what's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome into the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, first off, the latest injury report before the Rams Monday Night Football game, Wild Card weekend, and the Vikings are pretty much fully healthy, but we do have one key player out. But overall, great news on the injury front. Then on the second half of today's video, I wanted to talk about the top 5 players and coaches who are under the most pressure heading into the playoffs. I think there's a lot of guys that are under pressure, but I want to really focus in on about 5 of these guys. But before we tell you the injury news here, I want to get a little challenge out to you guys. I want to get the good vibes going in Sam Darnold's direction. Can we pick up just 14 subscribers on today's video? If you guys are new here and want to stay up to date around the latest around your Minnesota Vikings, hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and all I'm asking for is 14 of you guys to hit that sub button. Do it for his jersey number, get the good vibes heading Sam Darnold's way. So if you guys could hit that sub button. But the latest injury report just came out, and the player that is out is going to be Patrick Jones II, and questionable is Cam Akers and Taki Taimani. Now, I do want to focus in on Taki Taimani a little bit here. Kind of an under-the-radar guy for the Vikings. I kind of throw him in the same boat and bucket as a guy like Jalen Redmond, where we were looking at him as one of these defensive tackles that could break out this season. And, he's been in and out of the lineup due to the injuries this season, but it's huge that he could potentially be back for this massive game. And if you're looking at the Rams offense, what do they like to do? What does Sean McVay like to do? I know they got all of these special weapons on the outside, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford, but they really start their offense through the run game. So having more physicality up front is huge. So I'm looking at Taki to potentially just go in there, make one splash play. And I've been talking about this. We talk about all the blue chippers on the Vikings, the Grenards, the Jeffersons, the Addisons, the Van Ginkels. But in this game, in the playoffs, you're going to need to have somebody else step up, make a play, and maybe a guy like Taimani could do that. But also, Cam Akers, questionable with an illness. Kevin O'Connell did talk today and said he expects him to be ready to go, which is, obviously big-time news because, the Vikings, we saw it at the goal line last week and at the goal line throughout the season. Last week against the Lions, Kevin O'Connell just refused to run the football, which, people have their thoughts on that. I don't necessarily hate the process of it. I hated the execution and the results of throwing the ball. Was it 11 straight times at the goal line? But throughout the season, the Vikings have not been able to run the ball. So I got maybe, I don't know if I want to call these solutions, but 2 ways I could see Kevin O'Connell combating this. So if you guys haven't seen it, Daniel Jones was just activated to the roster. Kevin O'Connell is kind of, hasn't gave a definite answer on who's going to be QB2, and I think that's interesting because let's just say Darnold goes out. I still fully expect it to be Nick Mullins to step in and replace Darnold, due to the injury. But also I want to put this out there. If Darnold plays a terrible first half, he will not be benched in the second half. I saw Mike Florio put out a ridiculous article pretty much suggesting that Daniel Jones was elevated to replace Sam Darnold. I thought it was idiotic. I honestly thought it was just Florio trying to get clicks. But point being here, I would not be shocked if we see a Daniel Jones goal line package on Monday. What that means is maybe they use Daniel Jones kind of in that Taysom Hill role that we have seen the Saints do for countless numbers of years at this point. And it's always been very successful because, if you just block it up well and you use the quarterback as a running back, you're just having numbers advantage, and pretty much, Daniel Jones just has to be one guy and kind of push that pile forward, to get in the end zone. So my kind of bold prediction here, but I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see it happening, is Daniel Jones could possibly get a goal line package this Monday. It would not shock me, considering the struggles they've had the last couple of weeks at the goal line. It would not be out of the craziest, realm of possibilities that we could see a DJ package. But also this. What about getting C.J. Ham the football at the goal line? He's not going to fumble. He's just going to, do whatever he can on the limited opportunity that he has. So I could see also, C.J. Ham maybe getting in touch. But still, my attention, especially Monday night, is going to see how Kevin O'Connell tries to combat this kind of goal line debacle that we have had here over the last couple of weeks. But also Patrick Jones will be out, which is devastating news. He had 7 sacks on the season, 19 tackles, 1 forced fumble. And if you guys remember, the last time the Vikings played the Rams in L.A., they had 0 sacks. And I'll say this right now. If the Vikings play the Chargers and they have 0 sacks yet again, they will lose that football game. You got to get pressure on Stafford. You got to get him off his spot because, yes, he is still a very good quarterback, but he's not the same guy he once was. He can't move around as much. And I was rewatching that Vikings Rams game the other night. Stafford's second touchdown pass, he completely broke a sackle from Grenard. So I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Andrew Van Ginkel. You got to get Stafford on the ground when you have the chance to. It just sets them back, and plus just make Stafford feel you because he will throw the ball your way if you get consistent pressure on him. So without any Patrick Jones, also look at a guy like Dallas Turner, maybe to make it happen. But quickly, I want to go over 5 ways the Vikings beat the Rams, and we'll dive into our pressure cooker here on the show. But number 1, the good Sam Darnold has to show up. All the pressure's on him. I think this whole postseason run is on the right arm of number 14, so hopefully he gets it done. And then Justin Jefferson. I'll actually talk about him a little bit more in depth. I don't want to, leak my thoughts just yet, but I think he could be having a legacy game. And then Kevin O'Connell, he's got to adjust at the goal line. Whether that's getting a Daniel Jones package in there, whether that's running the football more at the goal line, or just getting Sam Darnold just in rhythm easier in that spot, that's going to be huge. And then the Flores-McVay matchup, that's going to be what I'm really keeping my eye on. Will, Flores go the more man-to-man? Because the Vikings have not ran a lot of man so far this season, but they did a whole lot against the Packers, and it worked out very well. Kind of caught Matt LaFleur and that Packers offense off guard. So be curious to see how Flores adjusts to Sean McVay. And then also I talked about it, the other guys, man. The other guys are going to have to show up. I'm not talking about the blue chippers. I'm talking about the guys that, whether that's Brandon Powell housing a punt return. Just little plays like that could really change the direction of this game. But speaking about this game, if you guys want the Vikings to beat the Rams, just give me a SKOL down below in the comment section. I'd really appreciate it if you guys light up the comment section with some SKOLs. Get those good vibes going. I'm a superstitious guy. I want to keep this positive here, and hopefully we'll be playing in the divisional round next weekend. Now, we'll dive in to my 5 Vikings players and coaches who are under the most pressure. But first off, I want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. Now, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. And if you guys download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS, you guys will get hooked up with $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Now, Game Time, they have a sweet new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. Now, if you guys are trying to head down to Arizona for this Vikings Rams Wild Card weekend game, use Game Time. You guys will get $20 off. So if you guys are trying to, make the flight, get a hotel room over there, it's going to be an expensive trip. But if you guys are trying to help yourself out, get those $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Plug in that promo code ChatSports, and you guys will get that $20 off your first purchase. But take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem that code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's dive into my top 5 Vikings who are under the most pressure. And number 1 should not be a shocker to any of you guys. We're going to roll with Sam Darnold on this one. And honestly, if I had the power rank all the players and coaches, wild card weekend, who is under the most pressure, it's Sam Darnold. Not only, the team's success, all comes down to Darnold in my opinion, but also him personally. Like if he goes out there, he delivers a stinker, I am very skeptical of him getting $35, $40+ million per year on the open market. But if he goes out there, he lights up this Rams defense on the big stage of Monday Night Football, I could see a team getting desperate and paying him upwards of $45, $50 million. So hopefully Sammy D, he shows up. And if he shows up, it should help number 2 on my list, which is Kevin O'Connell. Now, I've already seen it thrown out there, and I threw out this take out there other day saying, let's just say the Vikings don't show up, they lose again, and Kevin O'Connell has a bad performance. I guarantee you the conversation around the Vikings will not be, Kevin O'Connell did such a great job with a roster that was supposed to win 6 games this season. No, the conversation will be, can Kevin O'Connell get it done in the playoffs? I promise you that. They will be skeptical of him because, even if you view that Lions game as a playoff game, where you lost to the Giants, you lost to the Lions, and if you go lose to the Rams yet again, people will start talking about Kevin O'Connell being a playoff head coach. And again, I think it's ludicrous. I'm going to be probably pissed off at that conversation because, he's overachieved. This was not our Super Bowl window year. This was just a rebuilding year. And again, I hate even saying it because it's like me almost expecting to lose this game for the Rams. And I think the Vikings have enough talent on this roster to get it done. But I promise you, if we lose this game, KOC will be on under a bunch of pressure. And number 3 for me, I'm going to go Brian Flores on this. And, obviously the Vikings' success defensively will all start with Flores. We know that. But also Flores to get a head coaching job. Like if McVay just slices and dices his defense throughout the whole game, and already people have the question marks around if Brian Flores can, be a head coach, not just a defensive coordinator. And if his defense gets lit up, I could see a lot of these teams being like, hey, maybe we'll pass on Flores. Maybe we'll go another direction. But I think Flores has a ton of pressure on him this weekend. And number 4, I'm going to go the Vikings secondary. And main reason I'm saying this is because a lot of these guys are going to be free agents. Byron Murphy, Cam Bynum, Shaq Griffin, Stephon Gilmore. I mean, most of these guys will hit the open market this offseason. And if they get sliced and diced by Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and there's no shocker here that the weakness of this Vikings team is their pass defense. And if that is the storyline coming out of this game, that they lost to the Rams because they couldn't guard Puka and Cooper Kupp, maybe Byron Murphy, Stephon Gilmore, Cam Bynum, maybe their average per year salary just goes down by a couple million. And plus, if the Vikings are going to want to win, one of those guys is going to have to make a play, maybe intercept Matthew Stafford just one time. But number 5 for me, and I hate myself for even putting him on this list, but I have to. I'm going to go Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, his last time versus the Giants, did not eclipse 50 yards. He had 47 yards on 7 catches, one of his worst games as a Minnesota Viking. He was getting double-teamed. He was getting triple-teamed. I understand that. But I can already see the stat graphics getting thrown out there. If he goes out and he has 50 yards, they'll put it up there, his regular season average versus playoff average, and it will be staggering the difference. So I hope number 18, who already had a big-time game against the Rams early on this season, hopefully he replicates that and he bounces back with another big-time performance. So those are the 5 guys I'm looking at: Darnold, KOC, Flores, the whole secondary, and Justin Jefferson. But you guys let me know, who is under the most pressure for the Vikes versus the Los Angeles Rams in this playoff game? And as always, I appreciate you guys for watching today's show. We'll see you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikes.